You know who is out here doing creative things and changing the game for how we detect cheaters, handle them?
Somehow, Activision Blizzard? Is that who you're going to go with?
Somehow. Call of Duty, of all games, getting creative. And they continue to be creative with how they handle their anti-cheat.
Yes, it's about time too, because cheating in video games is running rampant. I'm seeing it at all levels of games, at all different platforms. It's getting out of control. But this article is coming from Tech Radar, one of the many places that we've always checked out, and it is Demi Williams is actually the writer of this article. So the title of the article is Call of Duty's anti-cheat update will close down the game if it detects aim assist on mouse and keyboard, which is pretty sick. And I'm wondering if they're actually going to go into explaining how that works. Now, I don't know if you know or not, because you usually play mouse and keyboard, don't you?
Yeah, mostly.
So what some people will do is that when your computer senses an input on your gamepad where aim assist is definitely going to have it, your controller, people will tape or like have a discharge button or something on the controller so it's always active, and then they'll play with mouse and keyboard. So the game thinks you're playing with the controller because it'll sense the controller input
Crazy.
first, but you can override it with the mouse and keyboard. Now, there are several games that I know of that have done away with that pretty simple, like on easy anti-cheat. So let's see what Call of Duty has in store. So Call of Duty's anti-cheat software will now detect if a player is using aim assist on mouse and keyboard, and it will shut down their game. In a recent post shared on Twitter or X via IGN, Activision announced that its anti-cheat technology, commonly known as Ricochet, to players has been improved and now features the capability to catch cheaters in the act. Our security detection systems now target players using tools to activate aim assist while using a mouse and keyboard. The Call of Duty application will close if detected, the post reads. By the way, there are several, remember the Cronus Zen that we talk about so many times, or the Zim? People are plugging in mouse and keyboards into those things and repathing themselves to controllers. So
Dude.
I wonder if that'll actually pick it up. And
These
in the article it shows. Let's get into it.
dude.
Oh, I see it all the time. Repeated use of these tools may lead to further account action. Please permaban, hardware ban, IP ban, fry their CPU. Anyways, by the way, side note about frying CPUs. YouTube now knows when you're using ad blocker, and it is forcing your CPU to sweat more. And it's sending unnecessary stuff to it. Yeah,
That's kind of crazy.
fun little fact. Yeah, so don't use Chrome and turn off hardware acceleration, or you're gonna get cooked. All right, let's get into it. So this new Ricochet update applies to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2, and Warzone on the PC. The console version of these games, however, features a built-in aim assist, which offers players some help when aiming with the analog sticks, a topic of discussion in the community that some believe give others an unfair advantage. The good old keyboard and mouse versus gamepad debate. We could have that debate forever. Divide our entire audience. So both PlayStation and Xbox consoles also allow users to plug in with the keyboard and mouse via USB, allowing them to play games that way. But when done so with Call of Duty, the console's aim assist will detect the new device and be turned off, as it should. You shouldn't have aim assist on mouse and keyboard. There are third-party. It is. A lot of people brain dead don't realize that. There are third-party controller emulators like Zim and Cronus Zen that can be used to combat this, making the game think the player is using a PlayStation or Xbox controller when they're not. This, for obvious reasons, isn't allowed. Activision cracked down on cheaters last year by providing a host of new updates to its Ricochet technology over months, including the ability to detect third-party hardware and other security measures. In June 2023, it introduced hallucinations, which spawns fake players to trick cheaters into exposing themselves using the anti-cheat software. That's awesome. And in November, added a measure to disable cheaters' parachutes. I saw the clips of people jumping out of the airplanes and just plummeting to the ground and dying instantly.
And then they'll land on they get res on the building, and then they fall off the building, kills them again. It's like, it's the funniest thing ever. It's like their fall acceleration is immediately turned up to 1,000,000, so they just die over everything they fall off of.
This is what needs to happen. You don't ban them. You just troll the hell out of them.
Yeah.
Because how many times, like, dude, there were kids. I thought they were joking, but they were dead serious. They were taking videos on their phone of like that happening to them, and they're posting it online complaining that their game was broken and how bad Call of Duty is. And you can see a Cronus in like the bottom left hand corner of the screen. It's like, bro, what is he doing?
Yeah. I saw
And
one
he
that was
just gets
complaining.
trolled.
Yeah, like I saw another one that was complaining that had like blatant cheats, and like he said, I don't get what's happening, and like he like captured a screen wrong, or like he filmed it in a way where you saw like the boxes or whatever. It's like, dude, it's so funny.
You're talking about he was being briefed by another team where they were stacking, which is basically like all 3 players on the same team or in the same location.
Yeah.
So if you turn the corner, you insta die.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was complaining and like talking trash, and then after he dies, he like immediately started complaining. He's like, dude, what?
Yeah.
So many people are cheating, dude.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
It's wild. Yeah, like there was one guy that complained about getting team killed because it was like 3 or 4 guys running up the stairs because they knew he was cheating, so they started hunting him down. And obviously he couldn't kill them all at once, and like he was sitting there complaining when he was like blatantly cheating. Like, so funny.
Yeah, there were like when Halo Infinite was really popular, there were so many cheaters that came out of the woodworks and started cheating in there. But the Halo community's been so small, like so niche for so long now that everybody that like pretty much knows each other. So somebody new comes into the scene that nobody ever recognized. You're like, okay, what's the deal? Their initial reaction is like, maybe they're cheating, and then you find out it's like, okay, they were pro in another game, or they were like high level in another game. Okay, they're legit. But what's this guy with like the fake gamer tag name, right? And then you start looking at it, it's like, this guy's obviously cheating. So people will like literally just betray him right off spawn because like Halo players hate cheaters more than anything. So it's like you start cheating, it's like, okay, insta team kill or quit out immediately, no matter what this person has to lose. Like briefing. Yeah. It's so weird, dude. Why are people cheating in video games in 2024?
I don't get it.
How is it possible?
It's 2024, Mike. We're almost 3 weeks into this year. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
That's scary. Yeah.
I mean, that's
what are you gonna have? Yeah.
It's wild, dude. But yeah, COD's taking the best approach ever out of every game, which is kind of weird to say, but it's like they're just trolling the cheaters, which I think's just the funniest way.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. Are you do you think aim assist is okay on controller? Are you one of those mouse and keyboard players where you think people who play on controllers have a huge advantage?
Yeah, well, I don't know. See, the thing is, I'm very jaded because I'm not like a super competitive gamer. So like, I'm not like if I die to someone on controller, it's like if I learned a controller and like I dedicated time to it, I could probably get pretty good at it. At least I think in my mind. Probably not, but I feel like it's like for the longest time I haven't been super competitive, and I know I'm kind of an average player, and I just don't dedicate time to try and get better. So it's like it never really bothered me too much. But I mean, in the debate of controller versus keyboard and mouse, at the end of the day, they both have their advantages and disadvantages. And like those who are really good, just really go whatever input can make it work. I will say, like, there's some games that don't make sense to go keyboard and mouse, and I think controller is like, the way.
Oh yeah.
And like everyone competing in COD, I'm pretty sure everyone uses controllers. If I'm not mistaken. I don't think there's
it's a requirement in the league,
right?
Which is why.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna compete, like, you might as well use controller. Everyone's using it anyway. So I mean, I feel like there's no real debate for a game like Call of Duty. Now, a game like CS, there's no debate keyboard and mouse is how you have to play, right? Like, I don't think you can play.
Keyboard player.
I don't think you can play. Yeah, I don't think you can play controller on CS. So that's one of those.
You can.
I mean, I wouldn't want to. I'll tell you that. I don't want to. I feel like if you want to be actually good, like, get good at that input. I mean, it's game by game, case by case, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's 100% circumstantial. Like, I feel the best balance I've ever seen in terms of mouse and keyboard aim assist. Well, yeah, mouse and keyboard and controllers with aim assist was actually Splitgate. Splitgate probably had the best balance I think I've ever seen in shooters. Also because there was a whole other element of you had to be able to port across the map, and your movement meant a lot. So you had a huge movement advantage if you played mouse and keyboard, but then you had a huge assist advantage if you played on controller.
Yeah.
So that kind of equaled out. There's
kind of balance it.
Other yeah. To me personally, I think if you're doing a professional league or franchise league in particular, you have to standardize everything. I think there should be a approved monitors. There should be approved hardware like controllers, cables, button layouts, overall configurations. Like that should all be like stock,
Yeah.
and you can't move it in any which way you want. But that's not how leagues are.
Yeah, there'd probably be a lot of debate, especially like controllers. There'd be a lot of debate because, like, if you were to try and have like a standardized controller, there'd be a lot of people like that, like, oh, I use that anyway, it's fine, or like, oh, but I swear, like, I'm like this much better if I use a scuff as opposed to like an Xbox Elite. Okay. But like, and there's a lot of people that they feel like they head case about like, oh, like I need my controller to do well, and it's like if I had to use something else, it's kind of just crap. I don't know.
Just adopt, but this is also coming from a guy that has like 12 different types of controllers that I play with regularly.
Yeah.
A controller is a controller. You just have to play with it enough times to get used to it. Same thing with mouse and keyboard. I think everything should just be standardized. Yeah. That's just how I feel. It's like there's like in the NFL or any like US, I guess baseball is the only exception because the fields are different sizes. I think it's different sizes as well in soccer. In English Premier League and a lot of leagues over in Europe. But like the NFL, they have standard balls, they have standard like helmet sizes, equipment. I think the cleats are like the only thing they can really change, but it's usually the design.
Yeah. Yeah, most of it, it's like there's Jordans. I've seen Jordan cleats. Yeah. I see like I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know the other brands that are like typically out there. It's like the one I see like Nike the most. I think. But, yeah, it's like. But yeah, I mean, I think to a certain extent, it's important to even the playing field, right?
Competitive integrity means everything,
right? Yeah, and like for a sport like for an active kind of sport like football or basketball, I think it's important to have either standards around like ball, like the balls like you use, and some of the equipment and the padding and stuff like that. I think obviously like you need a helmet, right?
Where the rim's at, like the size of the rim, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super important. Basketball is the other thing too. Is like there's so many different shoes out there, and so like people are just but a lot of the designs are sick too. So you want to get some sick right. Like, I don't know. I'm not a shoe head, so I can't like think of a name. But like you want to get some like crazy Jordans or something like that. That's like a weird color. Then you're allowed to do that, which I think is really cool about. That's something about basketball I like. Is like they give like besides the jersey and like the color scheme there, they actually give the players like freedom. I think with their footwear, it kind of gives a little creativity. Yeah. Because like there's like same with like football, for instance, like there's like there's players that there was a couple players this year that they would wear like colored cleats and then they would get fined because it's not that you have to wear a certain color scheme, right?
Yeah, and they sometimes it's actually pretty interesting because they were like, yeah, I'll just accept the fine.
Yeah, this is which I think is funny.
Yeah, they're like whatever.
Yeah, it's I wish there was more creativity kind of that aspect sometimes, but yeah, I think same for esports though. Like if you're doing a league, like you want some consistency, right? And I think monitors is a good place to start. Like if you want to standardize monitors, great. Controllers, maybe there's some debate there, but I think I certainly would agree with like have some standard hardware at least in terms of like the machine the games are running on and the display. That's output.
So. Yeah, and I guess what I'm referring to is like before we get anybody jumping on us is the professional league. In particular, it's like if you're at home and you're playing matchmaking or whatever, do what you gotta do.
You just want, man.
Yeah, do what you want. But if you're going to like an arena, a tournament, or you're participating in an online league, it's like, yeah, you gotta have everything standardized. You gotta minimize as much as possible the variance. Honestly, I don't think you should be playing any online money matches or like cash tournaments online ever. I feel like internet is just so inconsistent and in a competitive setting, it's not going to work for you. Like, there's so many different things that can happen.
Yeah, I mean, I could agree with that too. I think. I mean, I get there's debate there, like, oh, not everyone can afford the travel costs and whatnot, blah blah blah. But like, I think too, like, if you're, I mean, you could probably do like minor money, like little tournament things, but like, yeah, if you're doing like something crazy, like, you should definitely, have that on LAN. Again, even the playing field, because you can't really do that with online.
Well, true that. Pretty cool to see that Activision Blizzard's actually trolling the cheaters, and I'm very excited for it. Yeah. But how do you feel about our last article of the episode? It's kind of a sad one, but there's not too much to it.
Yeah,